right, there we are. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope you all have had a good weekend. It goes by so fast. Time just flies. Um, yeah, it's no doubt about that whatsoever. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well. So before we do jump into anything here, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If we can do that, we can have a good stream. Otherwise, those awesome people in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we're just not going to have it. All right. So very simple, very easy. So that is that. So the question of the stream, if you saw this question that I had out there to start with, was are we sitting around waiting for something, right? Basically, to happen. So, what do I mean by that? I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, but I'm going to get a drink of this delicious green tea first. Ah, that always hits the spot. I love that green tea. I'm not going to lie. All right, so, no, we had an actually busy day, and you'll see tomorrow. There'll be a video up tomorrow, so I know some of you have questions about our new member of the homestead, Mr. Lucky, and you'll see what we took care of for him, and hopefully that's going to be good for him for right now. Um, so that's you like I said, you'll have to wait for that'll be 3 o'clock tomorrow. You'll get to see that video, so we'll kind of go from there. But anyway, um, very productive though today. Got some things done. Definitely wanted to get that area cleaned up with the wood chips and all that. So that was what the focus was for sure. And so you'll see all that. But then Paul and Barbara stopped down to make sure their camper was more winterized, ready for winter. So they got that squared away and got that done. And then we had Ryan stop by today as well. And so had a little bit of a BS fest in between getting things done. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Talking about some plans, talking about some things that we need to do, which is definitely smart as well. And so we will continue on from there. But anyway, all right. So let us get rocking and rolling here. I have a sneaking suspicion. We just sent more ships and stuff over to the Middle East. I don't know if you guys saw that. One of our ships did shoot down a rocket coming out of Yemen that was headed for Israel, and we shot that down out of the sky. I feel, and I'm not, like I said, I just a feeling, nothing to back it up. No, I can't say, well, this is because why, blah 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 blah. I have a feeling that our people are being put over there in harm's way, which they are in harm's way, being over in that area with people that don't like America, obviously, that would like to do harm to us. So I believe that our government, if you will, is put those people over there to say, yeah, okay, here we are, do something about it, and they would like for them to do something about it, our government, because that would be a reason to get us involved more than we already are. It would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form if something were to happen, and then we could say, there for whatever reason, for whatever reason, they have to have the justification, right? Well, we did this because this happened. It seems to be the case all the time. We had to have a reason why we went into Iraq, right? It was because of horrible Iraqis. See, I want you to think about this, right? Let's think about this, okay? So Iraq went in down to Kuwait, if anybody remembers the history, because I realize it's so long ago that nobody pays attention to history anymore. But Iraq had gone into Kuwait, taken Kuwait over, basically took the wealth and did whatever they were doing at that point in time. And then the coalition of countries went over there to free poor Kuwait, and so we did that. And that war, um, that was the first one, the first Gulf War. It didn't last very long, right? If you guys remember, we went in there and bombed the crap out of them, destroyed all their infrastructure. Uh, you know, that one was over pretty quickly. Well, we only went so far and then we stopped. And then 10 years later, we went back because George Bush Jr. Basically decided that George Bush Sr. did not finish the job that needed to be done. And so we ended up going back in there because, all the excuses that they gave us at the time. And, obviously, so we went back in there. We're always looking for an excuse. The reason that we went into Afghanistan was because of the terrible Taliban, right? And, you had Obama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, I'm sorry, over there. And so, we were going to get him. And then he ended up not even supposedly. See, here's what I have a problem with, okay? Here's what I have a problem with. Let's talk about this for a second. So, supposedly, our government killed Osama bin Laden, right? Now, if you've killed this bad guy, would you not have pictures of soldiers parading around with his dead body, right? Taking the pictures of, yeah, yeah, all that kind of stuff. You would think, right? But so, no, what we did, because we're such a wonderful country, we dumped his body in the sea, supposedly, right? That's what we were told. That's the story that we got. I never bought that story. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that it wasn't true. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I have an issue with that story. I don't find that explanation plausible because I think we would have put him on display. That's just strictly my opinion. I think we'd have been like, "Yep, see, we got him. Here he is. Here's the pictures. Here's the proof." Or if I'm sure the operatives that did that raid, those SEAL guys, a lot of times they have cameras on their stuff and they know what they're doing, and the operations people are watching exactly how the thing is broken down and what's going on. So it just a lot of it doesn't make sense to me, and that's just like I said. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just questioning: did it really happen the way that they said it happened? All right, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. So obviously our intelligence is not always 100% correct, right? We are not always told the truth of what actually happens. So there's things that go on. Yeah, they're all dead now. The special forces that captured him. Isn't that interesting too? That all those men were also killed later on. See that those things don't always add up. They don't always add up. Yeah, they don't. They only tell us what they want us to know, and they lie to us. Well, Billy the Kid Norwood, I don't disagree with that. We are definitely not privy to all the information, and heaven forbid that we're given the truth of any situation. So, again, like the Titanic. Yeah, right, exactly. I think we're just waiting for whatever event that's going to happen that's going to usher us into this conflict, and then we're going to be in it. And yeah, when they have no one else to blame, Trump did it. Exactly. It's always Trump's fault. Oh, that's too funny. It is definitely concerning. What about the Chinese ships in Israel? Well, how about? I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this one. They're over Chinese Coast Guard ships just rammed Philippine ships trying to go to the island there again, right where that shipwreck is, uh, to to refuel that. Now, what's going on there, and with all of our troops over, so you have all these situations for provocation, right? So let's break them down. So we got that one first with Israel, and we're over there in the Middle East, and we got all our ships over there and doing all that. And then we have our ships over in South Korea, showing a show of strength over there, and we have North Korea making threats, which I find completely laughable, to be honest with you. They're going to attack America because America is doing these things. North Korea is not stupid. All they're doing is saber rattling because there's no way they know that there's no way that they could win. Absolutely not. And if our government would actually let us fight a war the way that we should fight a war, that would be over with very, very quickly. And that's the reality of that. Okay, but we're also playing a lot of cat and mouse games in the South China Sea with China. Almost daring them to do something. Now, I understand. Okay, I understand we need to have a show of force, and I understand that it makes them think, it makes them hesitate. But at some point, you know, at some point, there's going to be you push too far. Old school advantage. I'd never underestimate any enemy. I get what you're saying. Old school advantage. I do, but North Korea is not a threat to the United States. Let's say let's speculate big time. Let's go ahead and speculate big time. You have a situation where, let's say, North Korea is able to acquire nuclear weapons. All right. Let's somehow they got a couple of nuclear weapons and they decide to launch them against us. And let's even further speculate and say one of them gets through and destroys one of the favorite cities near you, right? What do you think we're going to do? Do you think we're just going to bomb them? Do you think we would go, oh, yeah, that was naughty of you. We're just going to go ahead and bomb you for a little while? We would turn them into a parking lot, or we should. That should be the response. Turn them into a parking lot if something like that were to happen. It's just. I heard North Korea has many, many subs. They got garbage, Swan. They do not. You got to understand. I mean, our Navy, our submarine force is top of the line. I mean, we spend more money on military than any other country. We spend more money than a lot of countries combined on our military. So, I mean, our guys should have the best of the best. They should. I'm more worried about China, Iran, Turkey, and Russia against our forces in this country. Um, I understand what you're saying as far as that goes. Like I said, to me, China's the number one threat. Absolutely the number one threat. Yeah, with Biden in office, yeah, he's weak. No, I don't disagree with that at all. He's absolutely one of the weakest presidents. He to me, okay, and I thought Jimmy Carter was a weak president when all the situations that happened there in the Iran situation and all that back in that day. And those of you that are old enough will remember that he was a very weak president. I mean, Jimmy Carter was an honest man in a job where you can't be an honest man. That was my opinion. I think he was a good man. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think Jimmy Carter was a good man, but you know, you can't be in that job. You just can't. I think Biden is corrupt as they come, in my opinion, strictly my opinion. His history, if you actually look at his history of what he's done and what he said and the lies, I mean, my God. And realistically, what politician doesn't lie? They all lie. I mean, they all lie. But, I mean, it is amazing to me. Um, the guy's clueless. He fumbles over himself all the time. Uh, all kinds of issues. But yeah, who's the third person in charge with no speaker? That's another thing. So now all of a sudden, let's say something happens to Biden. All right, Harris is the president, and the Speaker of the House is supposed to be the vice president at that point. Well, right now we have no Speaker of the House. Right, we have no Speaker of the House. So who would be the one? You know, that's kind of scary. Yeah, he falls over invisible object. You got to understand, guys. I just heard this. I just had a conversation, okay, with somebody, and I don't know if you guys knew this or not. Airline pilots, right? Guys that fly the airlines and ladies that fly the airplanes for the airlines. Mandatory retirement at 65 years or 65. When they hit 65, they're out. End of story. The last day they fly an airplane for any of these places is when they're 64. When they hit 65, it doesn't matter. They are automatically retired at 64. So the day they hit 65, they're out. Why is that, right? Let's think about that, right? Why is that? Not all, right? Not all, but some have cognitive decline. They're not thinking as clearly. They got at that point. They a lot of times start to have a lot more health issues, and all that type of stuff, right? So why do we let these dinosaur politicians stay until the day they drop? Louis Slaughter is one that I can think of. Feinstein, who just died at what 90, right? There's another one. Why do they get to stay in there as long as they want to, as long as idiots keep reelecting them? When our mandatory retirement age for a company, you work for a company, they want you out of there at 65. Um, One of the members of my group, I'll give you an example, right? 38 years for the company that he worked for, just retired. For the last 5 years, they kept, and this is him telling me, for the last 5 years, they kept telling him, why aren't you retiring? You got your time in, you got more than 30 years in, you can retire at any time. Go ahead and get out. And he stayed. And he finally got to a point where he was like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm at this age, and I don't want to do it anymore. And I'll tell you what, I'll guarantee you that gentleman will outwork most people. I mean, it just they can't wait to rush you out the door. And I always tell this to people too. Whatever job you have, right? Whatever job you have, your life is so much more important than that job, and you are replaceable in a heartbeat. I don't care how valuable you think you are to the company. If you drop dead tomorrow, they're replacing your position next week. So think about that. You are not irreplaceable. Nobody's irreplaceable. Nobody is so important that the company can't run without them, because they will go on. Now they may suffer, and there may be issues with the company that you can laugh about later on because hey, yeah, well, they got rid of me, so this is what they get. It happens, and that is absolutely a thing with that. But these companies want you out. They don't want you working in your 80s and in your 90s. So why do we allow politicians to do that? When Louise Slaughter, because I'm from New York, obviously, so I remember her more than anybody else. I mean, she was clueless at the end, and yet they reelected her once again. You know, and it is what it is. And nothing's going to change until we decide. Number one, there needs to be term limits for these politicians. It was not meant to be a lifelong job where there are 30, 40 years of political service in there. And you look at Schumer, right? There's another one. Been there forever and a day, not going anywhere. And he'll ride it out until they carry him out of there. Mitch McConnell's another one, yes, freezing up at the podium. I mean, there's a whole group of them that they need to retire. They need to, and Biden should be at the top of that list at 80 years old. And we witness how bad things are going with him every time he walks up. When you have a teleprompter, right? When you have a teleprompter telling you what to say, and then you're reading the things that are the highlights of, voice inflection or whatever they say to tell you, he just reads that too. He just did it again the other night. So, it's just, I don't know. I just don't get it. There needs to be, like the president, that can only serve 2 terms, right? You can be reelected and then reelected again. You can't do more than 8 years as president of the United States. It should be the same way for these politicians, so they can't get comfortable, so that they can't get in there and make a freaking fortune off of us. This is what kills me. All right, you're a politician in this country, and you get elected, and you serve 1 4-year term. Excuse me, 1 term. You serve 1 term. Not only do you get a retirement, right, where they get a pension, not only do they get benefits forever and a day, and their benefits are not the benefits you and I get if we work for the government. No, no, no. Their benefits are completely different and much better. And it's just, and also, and I know probably a lot of you know this, but when, okay, so we'll use Jimmy Carter, right? Because Jimmy Carter is 99 years old. He is in hospice care and he's dying. I can guarantee you right now, there is Secret Service guarding Jimmy Carter. Guarantee it, because every president that we have has a Secret Service detachment that guards them for the rest of their life. The rest of their life. So even though he's probably in some place, probably not really knowing what's going on because he's in that situation, he's dying, obviously. There's Secret Service there guarding him. He's still one of the presidents that was, and he has had that since he's been out. How long has he been out? How many years has it been? Right? But he still has, and we pay for that. And the president should be 1 6-year term as they spent 2 years campaigning. It amazes me how much money they spend, to get a job that pays $400,000 a year. Millions, millions they pay. So, Secret Service protection to 10 years for former presidents and their families who served after 97. Oh, did they change it? Scott, I don't know if that's correct or not, Randy B. That doesn't make sense to me because let's use Obama for an example. Um, you know, you don't think that somebody would still like that feather in their cap that they killed Obama? You know, so I have a hard time believing that they just after 10 years go, okay, yeah, good luck with your life. I don't think so. I don't believe that's the case. They get lifelong protection. So. And Congress voted against term limits. Of course they did because it affects them. You know what always amazing me? They fight and do all these things with the over everything else. But boy, when it comes time to give themselves raises, they pass those every time, don't they? Now, is Trump going to be allowed to run for president again? I think, and that's what scares the crap out of them right now. Because right now, if the election was held today, Trump would win. And they know that. They know that. And that scares them to think that he could get back in. So, all right, let me get one more drink here first. Okay, I am going to ask, we got 530 in the chat. We got 194 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Oh, that's so funny, Anthony. Wow. That's all you got? Thank you, Joe, or JJ. I just, see, that's just so ridiculously childlike. It doesn't matter. Anyway, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you ahead of time. Also, it really does make a big difference with the algorithm, so I appreciate it for that as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. And I thank you ahead of time. My bad. They changed it in 2012 to lifetime and kids up to 16 years. Ah, okay. So yeah, no problem. Yeah, there has to be. I know that they had Secret Service on those guys forever. So yeah, it doesn't because there would be too many people out there looking to get. Like I said, there's too many people out there looking to get that feather in their cap. But I feel we need to be very vigilant right now. Um, and again, whatever does happen, and I do believe we're sitting around an event is coming, some kind of an event that's going to usher us into the next conflict. That's what my thought is, and I for whatever reason I see that coming. And then when that happens, and I do believe this to be true as well. Um, Once that happens, whatever enemy agents, if you will, are that are here in in the United States, will carry out attacks from within the country at that point. Again, and I keep repeating myself when I say this, but it's so true, and most people don't get it at all. They don't have to attack the populace of America. They do not have to attack the populace of America to win. They don't need to look for getting high body count numbers. They don't need to do that either. All they need to do, folks, all they need to do is to attack the power grid. If there was a coordinated attack on the power grid in a bunch of states, right, strategically placed power, places that they're going to hit, because you got to understand, we don't have 24-hour security. Somebody will say in the chat though, well, we have cameras. Yeah, well, what good do cameras do if they're blowing stuff up and destroying everything? It doesn't do. Cameras don't do any good. So if they do a coordinated attack on a power grid, then all they have to do after that is just sit back. They only have to sit back. So um, you watch and see. That's my prediction. What's going to happen? If you want me to make a prediction now, when that will happen, I have no idea. But if I was an enemy of the United States, that is exactly the way I would do it. It's exactly the way I would do it. And it's not like it's difficult to get into the United States illegally, right? It's not. It's not difficult to get into the United States at all. So, but yeah, I'm a big Miami Dolphin fan right now. I hope they kick the crap out of the Eagles because yes, that'll help the Cowboys. And the Cowboys did not lose today. Well, they didn't win either because it was a bye week, so they're not even playing. And how did the Bills get beat by New England? I mean, come on, really? But anyway, that's another story. But so anyhow, again, we you have to pay attention to what's going on, and the best thing that you can do again is put yourself in a situation where you can handle the situation, you can do what you need to do, take care of your business, and that's it. That's all. It's the only thing that we have complete control over is what we do as individuals. What we do to put ourselves in the best situation possible to be prepared as best that we can be, and that's it. You know, when you have a southern border that's been wide open, I mean, and it was very porous before. Don't get me wrong. But before Biden got in there, it was very porous before. But it's worse since Biden's been in office. I mean, they were lining up, getting ready when he became president because they knew they could just come in. And I want you to realize too, when they talk about what 2.2 million people in a year, those are the ones that got caught. Those are the ones that stopped and said, "Hey, I'm seeking asylum." Right? That's who that is. That isn't the ones that sent these people. Now think about how would I do it? I'm an enemy of the country. I'm looking to destroy the country, and I want to get over here, and I want to bring what I need to bring in here to do what I need to do. So I got a bunch of Mexicans and South Americans and all these people here, and you send them, and there's the border patrol, and the border patrol stops them, and they scoop them up, and they take them off, and they take off, right? Well, who's guarding the border then, right? So while they're distracted over here with them, me and my group of mercenaries or whoever, soldiers, go this way, and we get in and nobody knows squat. And then you have places set up within the United States where they know where to go to, training centers, camps, where it's all like-minded people preparing for the destruction of America. That's what they're doing, folks. And if you don't think that they're doing that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't, because it's very well organized. These people are not stupid. They're not stupid. So don't and that's another thing. Underestimating people thinking they're stupid. When I say that North Korea is not a threat, North Korea is not a big enough country where they could really. I mean, could they do damage? Of course they could do damage. But if they did, we would wipe them out, which we should at that point. You know, any of those countries, they know that. So, but like I said, we'll just, we have to do what we can do to put ourselves in the best position possible when the time comes. Uh, I have said many, many times before, the best time to do that kind of an attack on the power grid would be in the middle of winter, because so many people would die in their own homes. It's not rocket science. You can figure this out. When you have so many people do not have wood stoves, or if they do have wood stoves in their homes and they haven't used them, and they're not used to using them, and they don't have a wood supply, and they're not ready for winter. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are. Trust me, there's a lot of people out there that are. They got wood stoves, they got wood. They're ready to go to do what they need to do. There really truly is a lot of people in that situation that are ready. Asa says our border is like Swiss cheese. Um, Sorry if I offend some Swiss cheese. Oh my God, that's too funny. Thank you very much for the donation, Asif, and I don't disagree with that at all. We're in big, big trouble, and of our own making, of our own making. So, you know, Ed, do you still have the rooster? Yes. And I would encourage you all to watch tomorrow's 3 o'clock video to see what happened with the rooster and what's going on with the rooster. And so, you know, that definitely check that out, uh, and you'll see. So, but again, I could barely see it. How is his comb? His comb looks fine. I don't know if he was attacked by anything coming out here. So, but he looks okay. He's obviously was a little skittish, but he is. He looks like he's doing okay. So, well, in the second video, you should, today's probably today it would have been today's video, or no, not today's. The second video that I did for Saturday when he was in the garden. You could have probably seen him pretty good in that video. So if you had watched the first one, it's a video right after. You would see him then. So, but yeah, but yeah, you'll be able, in the video that I did today, you don't see him in the video I did today either. But you'll see what we've done for him, and so like I said, you'll have to watch that video. But and that'll be out, like I said, at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Ed, your videos are amazing but confusing. Okay. I do not have wood heat in the camper. No, I do not have wood heat in the camper. I'll go through this winter using propane again. I will put it like this, guys. When I get a propane tank empty, I take that propane tank and I fill it up immediately. It's supporting BACA, so it's Bikers Against Child Abuse. So that's I went to one of their rallies and I bought this shirt many years ago. But I definitely, obviously, I'm against people beating on children or hurting children in any way. So, and I think BACA does a fantastic job. in that situation and helping. You know, what's your opinion on how bad the coming winter will be? Snow, temperatures, etc. Every year, Chicken Man. Every year you hear, "Oh my God, this winter, last winter, did we not hear? Oh, this winter's going to be terrible." Really, realistically, last winter. Now, for Buffalo, New York, was the winter terrible? Yeah, it was pretty bad for them in Buffalo last year. But at the homestead in New York, they ended up having a really mild winter. We ended up having a very mild winter down here in West Virginia as well. So you just really you don't know year to year. They can kind of speculate because of the way of the air flowing and stuff like that that we may get different temperatures and stuff like that because of El Nino or El Nina or whatever they're talking about. But I think it's a hit or miss situation. There's will there be ice storms? Okay, here's my prediction. Will there be ice storms? Yep. Where will they be? I have no idea. Will there be blizzards? Yep. Where will they be? I have no idea. Now, obviously, if you are in some place such as Minnesota, or if you're up in North Dakota, the chances are Colorado, you're going to get up in the New England states, you're probably going to get a lot of snow because that's what happens all the time. I know where. Have you had any freezing temperatures yet this fall? No, Billy, not so far. Now they're saying tonight might get down to about 30. I don't know. We really haven't had freezing temperatures yet, though, down here. We had a couple cooler nights. We've been a few nights in the 30s, but nothing, no freeze yet. Where like I haven't gone out in the morning. There's been frost on the ground or anything like that. So, you know, but you just like I said again. As far as winter goes, it's gonna be a wait and see type of situation. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. And again, here's some advice, right? Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because if you have your wood set up and you have your wood stove and you're ready to go with all that type of stuff, well then when something really bad happens, then you're ready. And if it's not a really bad winter, well then you have extra wood for the next time. And that's how it has to be. You know what I mean? That's how it has to be. You just have to be as ready as you can be for whatever. Generally preparing for winter, and that's like when we did our last get together. The decision was made that we really needed to process that wood. There's no reason to wait for the last moment, and the temperatures were decent. I mean, it was cooler that weekend, and we had some rain, but it was a good weekend to do wood because it wasn't too hot. We were able to process it and get it done, and and that's well, we didn't get it all done, but we got a good portion of it done. So but it'll be interesting to see what the winter brings. But again, if I was an enemy of this country, you know, I've talked about this before, and they talked about possible attacks, at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and those are definitely times that would be, more susceptible to an attack. If it was me again, and if I was an enemy of the United States of America, I would do Christmas. More people travel for Christmas than any other time, and if I can knock the grid down, right, during Christmas or the day before or the day after Christmas when everybody's not home, they're still at relatives where they've traveled however many miles away to get there. Um, that would be the best time because it adds to the confusion and it adds to the chaos because now not only do those people have to try to get back home to where they want to be to their families and the rest of whoever but maybe they travel to visit relatives or whatnot, and that's all perfectly well and good, but it just adds to the chaos. So to me, um, that would be the way that I would do it. But but I would do it during wintertime. So December, end of December would be a perfect time because if you take the grid down then, how many how many people are going to freeze to death in their own homes? Because not everybody has wood heat. Very few people actually have wood heat when it comes right down to it. And in all new construction, like I said, if you're in New York and if you're doing new construction in New York, and it's so high, depending on how high it is, that's all electric now, and it puts us in such a vulnerable position. They want to get rid of gas. They want to get rid of propane. They don't want you to have wood heat. There's a big push about that. Restricting, what you're going to be able to burn and all that type of stuff. So all those things, it puts you in a more vulnerable position when the time comes. And I just, DJ, we didn't work on the bunker this last month when we got together. We focused on the doing the wood because we felt that that was important to have that done and squared away. So when the colder weather comes, we definitely will be doing more updates on the bunker. So there will definitely be a lot more going on with that, especially when we get into the winter. You know what I mean? So that will be, we'll have more time. And underground, it'll be comfortable and it won't be, freezing. And even if it's cold up on top, it won't be down in the bunker. So we'll be getting a lot more of there. So, but anyway, yeah, there's like I said, guys. Actually, if you have a question, definitely all cap locks what stands out for me because I see it better when something's in all cap locks. So then the colder months like January and February are the beginning of colder temperatures. Yeah, exactly. So if you have the end of the year around December 25th, right, you make the grid go down, and it's going to be a while before it goes back up. Now you've got to deal with January and February and March because March can be sketchy at times. And again, people are not prepared. They're just not. They don't think about it. They don't plan for it. When they tell you over and over and over again, right? Go to FEMA, go to the Red Cross, and um, it'll say 95% of the people are not prepared for a 2 week disaster. We are not our ancestors. We have been spoiled. We have been coddled. We have not had hard times. We have not dealt with hard times. So, yeah, right. Halfway through December, January, February, and part of March here. Yeah, exactly. Up in the UP of Michigan, absolutely. So, how many people do you think? Right. Think about this. How many people do you think, even up in those areas? Now, here's another thing to think about, Don. Here's another thing. Let's think about this one. So, grid goes down, right, and that's the end of that. And now all these people are in their homes, and a snowstorm comes up and hits, the beautiful state of Michigan, and it hits the beautiful state of Minnesota, and all those people that are unprepared are now snowed into their homes because there's nobody coming to plow the roads, and they have what they have. They have a 2 week supply of food in their house, if that or less, and they're snowed in, and they can't go anywhere. You know how many people are going to die of starvation because of that as well? Or they're going to go out there trying to find something to eat in the middle of winter, and then you'll have people freezing to death. Um, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare waiting to happen, but it absolutely can. And when the time comes that somebody does that to this country, a lot of people are going to die, and they don't have to fire a shot to do it. They don't have to fire a shot. So I mean, my grandparents grew up in the Great Depression. They believed in having a stock pantry. So I've always had a stock pantry my whole life. Before I ever became a prepper, I was like loosely a prepper because I always had more than 2 weeks worth of food. Because I always liked having that pantry where I could just go in and get what I wanted. And then when that, if you had 3 jars of mayonnaise, right? So you use the first one, you bring the other two up, and then you go to the store the next time you go and you buy the next jar. So you always have 3 in a cupboard ready to go. Tuna fish, whatever the case may be, all that type of stuff. So, I always did that long before I got into prepping and realizing the importance of, you know, really being ready. And so, people that are ready, they're going to be fine. Uh, how deep down does the bunker need to be um, with the ground above you? Well, basically, it depends on what you want to do and what you're looking to accomplish, what you're looking to do. Um, we went down 12 feet, and then we've come from we down 12 feet. We're going to have drainage, and there's going to be a step up into the bunker. So it's going to be like a foot step up into the bunker. So now we'll call it 11 feet from the top, and then where the hill is, right, it starts here, but it goes up. So as we dig in, we're technically going to be much deeper underground than that as well. So that's the way that we're going to have that. So we'll probably be very deep underground as we go, and so it really um, depends on your frost line and how deep you need to go to get stable temperatures. Right. Uh, where I was in New York, 3 feet was the frost line. So you need to be more than 3 feet of overhead to have that temperature of 58 degrees if you're digging a root cellar or whatever you're trying to do. Thermal mass makes a big difference as well. So you don't maybe you're not that deep under, but if you have a lot of thermal mass, that's going to help as well. So those are things to think about. I know it's that time, and I apologize. So we have 503 in the chat. We got 303 on a thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for doing that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms as well. So I thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time. Okay, now I'm going to get a drink first. How many eggs? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck? So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses up here, and then we will go from there. Just give you a couple minutes here, and we'll figure everything out, and I will let you know who our winner is. All right, guys, if you had the same guess, which I was absolutely surprised somebody got it, and somebody got it early, and actually it's the only answer that I've seen that of that, and they were 100% correct. If you had the same guess as Dawn Hill, which none of you did, with one egg today and no for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Dawn. You have the right answer, and you are the winner of absolutely nothing. So congratulations. But yeah, it was, when Becky told me that, I was like, really? So, so congratulations, Dawn. You got it. But I know pretty soon here, guys, if I get hens down here to go along with Mr. Lucky, we may just not have to do the New York egg count anymore. We'll just have to do the West Virginia egg count. So, all right. So again, though, getting back to what we were talking about, I like I said again, I think it's really important to be as prepared as we can be. I'm going to always encourage you to do that. Again, I don't want to see you guys being victims. You know, we love you, New York hens too. Well, I would probably still do both. I would. So then it would even make it more difficult. New York and then also West Virginia, right? So, but so we'd have to split it up and do it at two different times. um, but putting yourself in a position to be as ready as you can be, I think it's really important. I would rather need it and not have it than not have it and need it, and that's really, really important. And again, the more prepared you are, the better shape you're going to be. The transition is not going to be as difficult. I want to explain something to you guys so you can kind of understand in a way. Okay. I always felt like when the kids were little, and I said, all right, started prepping, started getting into prepping, and got my first property, and I was working on a place up there. My thought process was always this: I want to try to make the transition from the life that we had now, right, in suburbia, with all the power and the lights and everything around and all that type of stuff. That when something happened, uh, hey Piper Pilot, down in the south, we get ready for hurricane season early, but once one is incoming, the news shows how all the shelves are empty and those unprepared. Even when told they have 3 days supplies ready, most are not ready. They're 100% correct, and that's a great example. Thank you for that statement, and you're right. People wait to the last minute. They don't do anything until they go, oh crap, the sky is falling, and now we have to do something. Um, that happens a lot. And thank you very much for the donation and the statement. And you're 100% correct. And it happens every hurricane season. You see it. You live in an area where you know you're going to have these things happen, and it's still the same mindset. Nothing changes. People still do the same stupid things, and they're not ready. But so what I was saying was always wanted to try to keep that transition, that when something happened, right, and now here we are. We're living at our bug out location, and the event, whatever the event is, happens. That it's not like other than the internet would be down, right? Now I want you to think about this. The internet would be down, right? No cell phone service. So other than that, what would change? Well, if you were living a certain way and a certain lifestyle, and you heat with wood, and you have your setup and you're ready to go, and you have your own solar system and all those type of things, you're not concerned about that, because you're still going to have power, you're still going to have hot water, so you're still going to be able to take a hot shower at the end of the day. And psychologically, those things are huge. They're huge, and people don't. It's things that we take for granted right now. I mean, I have found that so many times you hear all the self pity and the poor me and, oh, my life is so hard and this sucks and blah 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 blah. You hear that all the time, right? And and people don't realize how truly fortunate and how truly lucky we are. And I always use the scenario. I always use the same scenario because um, when you look at being in nursing, you look at things from a different perspective because you see people who are really suffering, that are really having issues and those type of things. And so, the people that, oh, mommy and daddy didn't hold me enough as a baby, and that's why I'm a drug addict or whatever. And they got every excuse in the world of why they're not successful in life because it's always somebody else's fault instead of looking in the mirror and realizing whose fault it is, right? That people don't do that. They will never self evaluate and say, man, I really screwed up. And I'll be the first to admit, I screwed up a lot when I was younger, a whole lot, but again, those are lessons, and hopefully you learn from them and you grow from them. But we all have that choice. Continue to do nothing, which is fine, right? Because what happens when it happens, you're screwed. But if you do something to put yourself in a position to be as ready as you can be, or connect with people that are like minded like you are, and you all have the same thought process, and you want to go, okay, yeah, I hate excuses. Me too, M. Hammer. I hate excuses. I really do. It drives me absolutely insane. So, because there really is no excuse. And it's funny. I have to laugh about this, and I'm going to give a great example of this. Okay, so last year was my first year down here, right? So I spent like 3 weeks down here, and then I would go to New York for a week. And once I set my power system up down here last April, it was a year. It was April was a year ago that I did it, and that whole year going up to November, I never had to run the generator. The system was working great. I had no issues whatsoever, right? So all the way into November, I was good to go. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. This 48-volt system is the way to go. I'm good to go. And what ended up happening was we had our get together in November, and then everybody had left, and the power went out, right? Because it needed the backup generator at that point. Well, I went at that point to go out and start my generator, which I had not started all season long, and it wouldn't start. So I had a huge issue. I had a huge problem. Um, and, people went out there and they made their videos of all the unprepared prepper. It was a valuable, valuable lesson. And the reason that I shared it on here on YouTube with everybody is because no, and I screwed up, and it was 100% my fault, and I took 100% responsibility for what happened. But I wanted to show you guys, even somebody like me who's a prepper and prepared, I still make mistakes, and I am not perfect in any way, shape, or form. But guess what also happened this year, right? I will tell you what happened this year. So we get through the winter, and winter is done. And come about mid March, since March, I've only had to use the generator one time because we had so many days in a row where we had no power, so I had to keep an eye on it. But I will tell you what happened every single month. Every single month, I go out there in the beginning of the month and I run my generator. I fire it up, I run it, make sure everything's good to go, that there's no issues. And that's what I do now. That is so ingrained into my mind now that that'll never happen again. It'll never happen again because I took that lesson. I said, man, you really screwed up and you dropped the ball, but you fixed it and it's never going to happen again. And that's how we learn. And that's how you guys learn also from my mistakes. But if you watch my channel, and I'm sure there's channels out there, right? I'm sure there's channels out. I'm not making any pointing any fingers and saying this channel or that channel. That's not what I'm saying. I am sure that there are channels out there that you've never seen a mistake. Nothing ever went wrong. Everything is perfect and everything works ideally and it's all wonderful, right? But what are you learning from that? Because I will guarantee you this, things go wrong. Every homestead, there's issues. There's going to be issues. Things are going to pop up. Things go wrong. Things happen. Everyone that does this lifestyle, there's things that are going to come up. Things that are going to happen. I did have to go buy a new generator. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And actually, I didn't buy just one. I bought two because I have one right now in the shipping container that's not even out of the box. Again, when I talked before, and again, this was part of the mistake that I made at that time. One is none, two is one, right? Because if you have two generators and one craps a bed on you, now you have one generator. If you have one generator and that craps a bed, until you go and replace that generator, you have zero. And if depending on when that would happen, you could be in a really tough situation. And actually, I have more than two. I have the one that I'm using. I got that one put away. And then I have the other two generators. And actually, one of those generators, one of the guys in the group took it. And he took it with him to see if he could figure out. That was the one that was Logan out on me. He took that one with him. And that's pretty much a brand new generator, guys. And he took that. So he's going to see what he can figure out what's going on with the generator. And he'll bring that back down next month. The other one, it just needed the pull cord changed, so we changed the pull cord, and so that one is now sitting on the porch. It's of the Wolf Slayer over here, and so technically, if you want to be technical, there's four generators there. Dave has, who is going to have his building put in behind here. He has three generators. So I know that Bud has a generator. So, and I know that Rob is bringing down a generator. So, at 90% of the time, small engine failure to start is due to stale gas. Ah, okay, Dale or Delbert. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't think this was stale gas. Because it would start up and it would run. Oh, Max says he has four. Okay. So, we have a lot of generators down here now. But when that incident happened to me last year, we did not. So I had one. And again, my fault. And like I said, and I learned from that lesson. And when I tell you that it'll never happen again, it'll never happen again. So, but that's how you learn. You learn from your mistakes. And if I can share my mistakes with you guys, hopefully you never make the mistakes that I do. And you go, man, I remember that happened to Prepper Nurse One. So I'm going to be on top of it, making sure that I'm squared away and not having to deal with any of those type of issues. It's important. I showing you guys the mistakes. I honestly believe that it's more important to show you the mistakes than it is to show you the successes, because when everything goes smoothly and everything is great, um, what are your thoughts on solar generators? I you know I've heard I have never had a solar generator. Okay, and I can only go on the experience that I had a friend of mine that had a solar generator, and he was very, very disappointed in that solar generator because it didn't do what he thought it was, that it would do. So, uh, you know, probably have they advanced since then? I'm sure that they have. But again, what's your battery bank capability of that solar generator? If you got a good, decent solar system and it's pumping in a lot of power, again, then that's one thing. But I just, if you're going to put the money into it, I would put it into a solar system. That's just me, because then I know exactly what I'm getting and what I can take care of and stuff like that. So, you have to really, you have to make those decisions when that time comes. I know, I'm behind again. Schedules. Yeah, but if I'm talking and running my mouth, So, anyway, all right. So before we do the shout outs, again, we're 428 in the chat. We got 360 on the thumbs up. So I don't know, let's go for, let's say 425. How about that? Let's see if we can hit 425 thumbs up before we jump off here. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you again ahead of time. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. The more interaction we have, the higher it pushes us up. So appreciate it for that reason. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So the goal is 425, which we are 51 away from that goal. So let's see if we can hit that before we jump off of here. Okay, first channel, Heavenly Hills Homestead. Channel, they grow giant vegetables. Very, very interesting to watch what he's doing there. And he's still in that learning process. And he had a pumpkin that was over 1,000 pounds this year. So really, really cool. We have Icky Can up in Canada doing his thing up there. Icky's a great guy, living off grid as well. And so definitely give him some support as well if you would. We got Angry Prepper, that is Jason down in New York City. Jason is an awesome guy, very, very squared away. He would be an asset to anybody's group. There is Alaska Prepper, that is Rudy up in Alaska doing his thing up there. Great channel, a lot of good information. There's Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and my Self Reliance. Two different channels, same guy, master builder up in Canada doing his thing up there, living off grid as well. And just amazing to watch this guy build and what he's gone through and getting things squared away. It's very, very cool to watch him. There is Demcad. You have Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There's Bizarizajizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles. It's an interesting story, definitely worth a listen to. You have Marfugal News. That's Adam and Dax out on the West Coast doing their thing out there in Seattle. So definitely listen to Adam as well. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wranglestar. That is Cody. He's been around a long time. Good channel. A lot of good information on that channel. There's Red Poppy Ranch. You have Survival Lily letting us know what's going on over in Europe and everything that's happening over there. You have Kyle's Cabin. That's Kyle and Sierra living up in Minnesota, living off grid. Nice young couple. A lot of good information on their channel. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband wife team, two different channels, a lot of great information with their channels. You have Green Greg's, another guy, a lot of great information with him as well. There is Southern Prepper One with his Boots on the Ground series, a lot of good stuff going on there. He's sharing a lot of information. Gray Man Prepping, there's Truly Tara 76. She is a makeup channel. For those of you that are interested, definitely check her out and show her some support. There is Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy have been around for a long time. A lot of good information on their channel as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Nice young couple down there doing their thing down there. The Green Dream Project out in Arizona, living in the desert, young couple out there doing their thing. They're really interesting. Camping with Steve Wallace, who does stealth camping. Bush Doctor Survival. You have Monkey Works. There is the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. Real good channel. A lot of good information on her channel. You have, excuse me, Boss of the Swamp, another master builder. This guy's amazing to watch him build. So very interesting to watch. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is a very smart guy. A lot of good information with his channel. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. Straight shooter. She says it like it is. Definitely worth a listen to. You have City Prepper. There's Lumina Acres. You have Suspicious Observer. All the sun information that you wanted, he's the guy to get it from. Bear Independent. The Uneducated Economist. You have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. There is Mary Greeley News giving you all the latest information of what's going on with Yellowstone and everything like that. There is Adapt 2030, Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall's a great guy, very passionate about the weather, and he gives back to the community in a huge way. There is Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. He gives you the info. He lets you decide what you want to do with it. Deep South Homestead, another really family-friendly oriented channel. Definitely should be supporting them as well. The Outsider up in Maine. You have the Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. Simple Life Reclaimed. You have Town Sense showing you what it's like to live in the 1800s. There is the Prepared Mind. There is Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. East Tennessee Preparedness. You have the Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little Off Gritty. A lot of good information out there, a lot of good channels. Again, I do believe we should be supporting each other. I think it's important to do so because, that way, with all the games that YouTube plays, if we were all giving each other shout outs all the time, then we could be sharing information that way. And that's really cool, I think. So we got 320 in the chat. We're 391 on the thumbs up. So the goal is 425. So let's see how quickly we can hit that number. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so. Let's get that up there and hit our target number. So, but again, it really does make a big difference. Again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit. My notifications were behind, still showing. Oh, for the game? Oh, okay. What somebody said Philadelphia scored? They're gonna go. It'll go back and forth, I'm sure. But anyway, like I said, a lot of great channels out there. We should be supporting each other. We are a niche group on YouTube. So excuse me. Again, be as ready as you can be. I think that is so important. The more that we can do to put ourselves in a position when the time comes, because it's not a matter of if. I believe it's a matter of when that we're going to be able to weather the storm better than most. It's still going to be difficult. There's still going to be people that are out there that are prepped up, that are ready, that are going to get overrun. It is going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Those are things that will happen. The stronger your group, the more prepared you are, the more time you've put into it and the dedication, it is going to give you a lot better advantage. What I'm looking for, like with anything, guys, um, I'm always looking for that advantage. I'm always looking for that edge. And if I can do something and there's something that I can control to put me in a better position than most people, I'm absolutely going to do it. I'm absolutely going to do it. And that's why like when I got into prepping, um, jumped in with both feet, looked at the situation and said, okay, this is what I need to do. So, and I don't just sit here and talk about preparedness and living off grid. I don't just talk about it. I live it. I eat. This is what I do. And so, that's why I think, leading by example, showing you, and again, you show the successes and you show the failures because both of them are good lessons to learn. Uh, the most prepared people are going to make mistakes. I'm going to tell you what, when the time comes, and we've talked about this as a group and talked about, okay, when the time comes, you're going to leave and you're going to come down, and then you're going to get here and you're going to be like, oh crap, I forgot this, or I should have grabbed that, I should have done this, I should have done that. That's where lists come in. You know, I'm bugging out, so I know I'm bugging out to my bug out location, and then look at your list and figure, okay, I need this, 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 and this. And as you're loading it into your vehicle, you're checking that off the list. That's the way you don't forget, because every time, I don't care where I go, and I think a lot of people do the same thing, we always forget something. It happens. It's human nature. You're going to forget something. And so, that's something to think about ahead of time. So we're at 399. So we need 26 more thumbs up to hit 425 is the goal. So let's keep them going. New info being released on Arm Candy confirming what we knew all along. Well, imagine that, Okie Forge. Yeah, we can't really get into that on here, but thank you for that statement. And is that a surprise to anybody? Realistically, it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. All right, 402, so we're 23 away now, 23 away. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the world. We're all over the country. Where is everybody from tonight? So let's do that. And let's keep those thumbs up coming as well. We got the UP of Michigan, the beautiful Pennsylvania Wilds with Pennsyltucky Granny, Fayetteville, North Carolina with Carol, Rando, Ozark, Arkansas Hillbilly, very nice with Randy, Northern Virginia with Robert, Austin, Texas, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. We got Nebraska with Sean, Eastern Canada with Kimberly, BC Canada with Janet, Leesburg, Florida with Joan. We have Franklin County, Ohio, Kansas City, Central Virginia with Janet, Adams, Kentucky with Don, Hale, Michigan with Joe, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania with Melissa, Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. We have Waterloo, New York with Sharon. Belgium is in the house. De Haller, I hope I said that right. Glad to have you here and staying up late with us. Greenlee County, Arizona with Kyler. Virginia with Critter Lover. Morning Light in West Virginia. We got Storm Weather in Washington State. Southeast Michigan with Randy. Texas is in the house with Dust Devil. Anderson, South Carolina. We have New Hampshire in the house with Vale. Cape Cod, Mass is in the house. Middle of Michigan with Whispering Pines. Hendersonville, North Carolina with Karen. We have Canada in the house as well. Bubba One up in Michigan. So West Central Ohio again with Dale. Chile, Central New York with Village Homestead. Yes, I heard that you guys are having some nice weather up there. My sister told me that she had her wood stove on all day today. And I'm like, I don't blame you. We got the Oregon coast with Sassy. Omaha, Nebraska with Larry's in the house. So again, guys, we truly are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network of people. We are the ones that truly can make a difference. We can make a difference now, and we can make more of a difference after an event because we're going to be the ones training people. Red Bank, New Jersey with Cardiac ICU RN. Very nice. Western New York with Karen in the house. So we're at 410, 411 now. 14 away, guys. 14 more thumbs up. Hakeem in the Georgia mountains, very nice. We got Wisconsin, rural farm countryside, very nice with Rare Bond. So again, we're all over the place, and honestly, we can make a huge difference. Again, networking is so important. If you can network, I think you should do so. It's going to make a big difference later on. Campbell, Missouri, with Antonio. Uh, did you guys give Jim breaks when cutting that wood? Yes, Larry. I kept telling him, take a break, push fluids, and he was like, "No, I did. I took a break. I'm good." I'm like, "Okay." So, but yes, he, you know, what was I going to share with you guys? I was going to share something here. It was a thought. Where did that? Now I can't remember what I was going to say. So we're at 4:14. We need 11 more thumbs up, guys. What, baby girl? What? Uh, oh yeah, yeah. All that sawdust. Yeah, we were all getting buried in that sawdust. So, but again, um, be smart. That's the most important thing. Put yourselves in positions to win because it is a game. And as soon as we can acknowledge that it's a game and realize that it's a game, we're going to be in better shape. Oh, I was talking about networking. I think this is important. I wanted to share a story with you. I heard through the grapevine up here that there is another group locally in this area. Okay, so we got Antonio from Campbell, Missouri. I'm going to seek them out. Okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to find out where they are, who they are, and I'm going to go talk to their leadership. And I think that it's important to do so, and I'll tell you why. The last thing you're going to want to do in that type of situation, SHTF happens, and now you have your stronghold of people, and there is another stronghold of people, and you don't want to have you guys having those conflicts. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you're on good terms with them, possibly for bartering, whatever the case may be. And then that way, if an external threat comes, you can work together. They'll have their group and we'll have our group, and we're not going to be hanging out, but have a mutual respect for each other. I think that that's important. So I definitely will be seeking them out to talk to their leadership because if there's an external threat coming and we work together, that would be great. If we're fighting amongst each other and killing each other, that's just stupid, in my opinion. It doesn't solve anything. And it just makes his group weaker and my group weaker, and we don't want that. So, just something to think about. So, again, networking is really important. Taking care of those things and doing those things is very smart. So, we're at 420 right now. We need 5 more thumbs up, guys. 5 more, and we hit our goal of 425. So I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. I really appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, what you do for me. And it means a lot to me. So I thank you. And, you guys are here consistently and you do a great job. I want to thank all you guys for being here and being part of what we're doing. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun and I really enjoy it. And so I appreciate your support and being here for these live streams and and then watching the other videos as well. And I hope you're enjoying our progress. We just, we're doing what we're doing, and we're making headway, and we're making good progress. And that's what it's about. It's like Dave is here, okay. And so, Dave and I worked on a project together today, and we got it done, and it was really cool. And having that extra set of hands to be there, and and of course, we were busting chops big time the whole time, but we got the chore done, and Ryan came over and he helped with things as well. And, and it's just, that's how things get squared away and get done is that team effort. And that's so important. So important. So I see we hit our goal. So we're at 428. So we're above the goal actually, which is awesome. So I thank you for that. Um, Remember guys, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we're going to be in much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. They use race, religion, political affiliation to keep you fighting amongst each other over nothing, things that don't matter. We're all human beings. We all bleed red. We have to come together. If we came together as human beings, and I think you will always be working on a project at the homestead. You're right, Billy Norwood. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Billy. There will always be something else to do. But everything that we do and we check off that list, that's one less thing that we got to worry about. That's the way I look at it. And I think that that's important as well. But we have to come together. If we came together as human beings, we can accomplish anything that we want to. And I think that is really important. Also, guys, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. I'm going to share something with you really quickly, okay? And this is a personal thing, and but I feel like it's pertinent. Um, my mom and her sister had not spoken in 35 years, not because of my mom, but because of my mom's sister. And I won't say her name on here, but everybody knows who my mom is, right? So anyway, mom got a call from her last night, and she's already had one bout of cancer. Her cancer is back, and she's back on radiation again for the second bout of cancer. Uh, what I told my mom when I spoke to my mom, I said a lot of times when people realize that their time is short, they try to mend fences, and it had been 35 years, and that was all my aunt and her judgments and all that type of stuff of why she wouldn't talk to my mom. And my mom was crying, and she was so happy that my aunt called her, and that they got a chance to talk. Okay, I'm going to encourage you. If you have animosity, hatred, whatever towards somebody, forgiveness, guys, letting it go is so huge. Don't carry that with you to your grave. It doesn't do anybody any good except for hurting you. And so, I was very happy for my mom that my aunt reached out to her. Now, I've talked to my aunt through that 35 years because she would talk to me, but she would not talk to my mom. And so, I was really, really happy to see that. So, last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to accomplish, whatever you are trying to do, the only one stopping you from achieving your goals is you. That's it, nobody else. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, they will happen. And stay away from negative people telling you what you can't accomplish, what you can't do. Don't listen to that. Stay focused on your goal, make it happen, and the best way to shut those type of people up is to achieve your goal that you have set. And then once you've achieved that goal, you set the next goal. So just remember that because that's really, really important. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to jump off of here. Remember, guys, again, life is short. Don't hold on to things like a cancer because it only hurts you in the end. You got to let those things go. Now, you can forgive, but you don't have to forget. That's the key right there, okay? I have forgiven a lot of things that I will never forget, and they'll never happen from that person or people again. They won't get a second opportunity, but you got to let it go for your own well-being, all right? Have a great night. I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.